If the power grid fails for a week or more, there is a common assumption that you can continue using your bathroom by manually flushing with a bucket of water. This belief assumes that your home plumbing is a closed loop, independent of the city. In reality, you're part of a vast interconnected machine. Municipal sewer networks aren't purely gravity-fed. They rely on a series of powered lift stations and pumps to move waste. When the electricity cuts out, these pumps stop moving fluid forward. Within hours, the pipes reach their physical limit. This is combined sewer overflow, a state where the system is so overwhelmed by waste and rainwater that it can no longer transmit the volume to a treatment plant. Because your home is the final intake point on this failing municipal grid, it is no longer an isolated sanctuary. Once the pumps stop, a backup into your living space becomes a matter of simple mathematics. As the neighborhood's waste accumulates, gravity forces that volume toward the lowest point of pressure. For anyone living in a low-lying area, this means the community's combined waste will seek an exit through your floor drains, showers, and toilets. The danger is not just the flood, it is the concentration of pathogens. Raw sewage is a delivery system for bacteria, viruses, and parasitic worms that have been stripped of the treatments usually provided by a functioning city. Historically, this specific biological cocktail led to mass casualty outbreaks of cholera, dysentery, and typhoid. These diseases shaped the 19th century, killing more people in many conflicts than the actual fighting. In a grid-down scenario, you are stripped of the two things that make these diseases survivable: a sterile environment and antibiotics. When these pathogens are trapped inside a home with you, and there's no medical intervention available, this exposure becomes a 90% mortality event. To survive, you have to mechanically isolate your home from the failing municipal grid. This requires an inflatable pipe plug designed to block the main sewer line at your property's exterior cleanout. Installation is a high-stakes procedure. You must insert the plug deep enough to be fully supported by the pipe walls, then inflate it using an extension hose while staying clear of the danger zone in case the pressure causes the plug to eject. The plug must withstand hydrostatic pressure, the sheer weight of the backing up water column, without losing its seal or rupturing the pipe itself. This diagram outlines the relationship between backup height and plug pressure. Water pressure increases by precisely 0.433 psi per foot of elevation. If the backup reaches 10 feet, pressure at your pipe invert is 4.33 psi. Adjust your inflation to match this rising force. Successfully plugging the line stops the city's waste from entering, but it also means that every gallon of waste your family produces now has no way to leave the building. This is why emergency authorities issue a don't flush protocol. Once the pipes are sealed, you must transition to a dry sanitation system. The biological success of this system depends on one rule: you must separate urine from feces at the source. Mixing them triggers fermentation, which leads to rapid, explosive growth of the very pathogen you are trying to avoid. A proper setup uses two vessels. Bucket 1 is for liquids, requires no liner, and can be emptied safely outdoors. Bucket 2 handles solids, must be double-bagged, and uses a carbon material like kitty litter to neutralize bacteria. By utilizing this two-bucket system, you maintain a sanitary boundary inside your home despite the total failure of the city's infrastructure. When the solid waste bucket reaches its limit, the bags must be sealed and moved to a permanent disposal site away from your living area. Disposal requires a specific geographic geometry. Your burial trench must be an absolute minimum of 200 feet away from any living area or water source to prevent groundwater contamination. You need a trench roughly 3 feet deep. Crucially, you must empty the waste out of the plastic bag into the dirt. The pathogens must be exposed directly to the soil for natural decomposition to occur. Burial hides the waste, but it does not neutralize it. The soil in this zone remains a concentrated reservoir of active, dangerous pathogens. To truly achieve safety, you must move beyond containment to thermal inactivation. This is the process of using sustained heat to biologically destroy the pathogens. Not all threats are equal. This chart shows specific heat resistance thresholds that must be met. Most common bacteria are neutralized after 30 minutes at 60 degrees Celsius, but the Ascaris roundworm is far more resilient, requiring a temperature of 75 degrees for 15 minutes. Surviving an urban collapse is a technical challenge. It relies on a rigorous respect for the physics of fluid pressure and the specific thermal thresholds required to neutralize a microscopic threat.